Tonight on Wild Chicago, we'll bend an elbow with Bulldog John Drummond and hear about 30 years of crooks, characters, and capers. Examine the exotic pets at a magnificent menagerie in Wisconsin. Observe the lost art of hat making with custom-crafted chapeaus at Optimo Hats. Crash the cast party of Chicago filmmaker Eric Larson's latest feature, Meter Girls. Worship 580 feet above street level in Chicago's highest chapel. And then meet the most disturbed jester we've ever encountered, Shat-Upon the Anti-Clown. Oh, if he'd only gotten those tickets to Bozo when he was younger, maybe he wouldn't have turned out this way.
What the hell are you people staring at him?
Hot dogs inside. Hot dogs inside.
Hi, I'm Will Klinger. We're your video navigators
On an urban adventure.
tonight with our team of wild correspondents. We'll explore a side of Chicagoland
You may not recognize the offbeat side, the eccentric, the unusual, the frightening. Now, thanks to you and your many suggestions,
we'd like to take you to.
that part of the city we know as Wild Chicago.
Jess Sanctuary is a place where exotic animals can go if they've been abandoned or abused. And if you become a sponsoring member, you can get very close to some potentially dangerous creatures.
What's your name?
Marlene,
Marlene, tell us where we are.
you're at Just Exotics.
Jess Exotic Pets.
Right. We have lions and tigers, jaguars, pumas, bears.
Lions and tigers and bears?
Yes, oh my.
How long has this place been around?
For about 25 years. We started out with getting animals who are abused, and I mean abused by people who think they can raise them from cubs and have them in their own home. They don't feed them properly, they beat them because they think that they should act like a dog. You can't train a big 350-pound lion to act like a dog. Now, Jonah came to us with a family who decided, after seeing The Lion King, it would be neat to own a lion.
Wrong.
They had a 4-year-old with him. The baby would have been meat for this cat.
Yeah.
These are our pumas. Come here. Come here, sweetheart. Come on, kid.
Sure, that's wise.
Yes. Come here, sweetheart. Yes. We don't encourage all members to do this. Just the cats get to know you after a while, and you get to know the cat. Here's a baby. Here's a baby. We have 62 cats.
This is the closest I've ever been to a tiger.
Socks and Koki came to us from one of those roadside types. You know, you could come and get your picture taken, or you can stop and pay a few dollars and see these tigers. Yes, I'll do this one.
As long as your fingers don't go through, huh?
That's right.
Okay, here I go.
That part through. Let him have it before you let go. That's it.
He's just taking the bone, too, isn't he?
The bone, remembers calcium.
Oh, boy.
These bears came to us from a sale. These were going to be sold for their gallbladders. As you know, people feel that gallbladders from bears is an aphrodisiac.
I didn't know that. You're giving that bear a sugar rush. Yeah.
We didn't bring the Twizzlers today. They like Twizzlers also.
Nook is a liger.
A liger.
He is a half lion, half tiger. Nook goes 1,600 to 1,800 pounds. His tail and his legs are that of a tiger.
Right.
And his body is that of a lion, but he has no mane.
This looks like a very old cat.
Sammy is 34 years old. He is the oldest Sumatran tiger alive.
In the world.
In the world. Raja comes from Michigan. The owner in Michigan had him in his apartment, and he would entertain his guests by throwing in a live dog. So the authorities found out eventually about it, and the owner had his hands slapped, and Raja was sentenced to death. So we found out about him and went and got him.
None of these animals are actually for sale. Once they're here, they're staying.
Once they're here for good until they die. And every animal that dies here is buried here.
Jim and Jill? right? You're the owners here at JES Exotic Pets.
Yes.
How much meat do you go through in a day, for instance?
We feed easily 1,500 pounds of food every single day.
That doesn't look that appetizing. What is that in there?
That is a calf that has been eaten and leftover that the
Leftovers?
Yeah.
A bull, a cow, a sheep, a horse, and here's a mule, a little donkey. And
This is sort of the miscellaneous pen. Jill, what pray tell are these now?
Well, these are very bizarre, and you'd never know it, but they're hairballs from the cats. They throw them out, and they're perfectly round. They look
Those
like
big cats cough those up.
Yes, isn't it amazing? But we did find a bigger one. Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
Check that out. Would you like to meet one of our residents personally?
You're telling me this is safe, right?
Yes, do not worry. This is Goliath. He's an Amur Siberian tiger, and he was with a performing act.
We're walking this way.
Over here.
When he does that, what does that mean?
He's saying, hi, I'm Goliath.
Yeah, you know, I probably wouldn't make that great a meal. I'm only 135 pounds.
Oh, he'd eat that in one sitting.
I'm all bone, Goliath. I'm all gristle. I think that's all we really need to see of Goliath. Goodbye, Goliath.
No.
Jim, Jill, if somebody wants to become a member of the JES Exotic Sanctuary, what should they do?
Well, they can reach us at our website at www.iazoo.org/JESExotics.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Everybody loves a clown, right? Not so fast. Meet Shat-Upon the Anti-Clown. Shortly after we shot Shat, he left Chicago for LA and is now hoping California will not shun Shat.
Did you get legal clearance for this, you knobs?
I thought clowns were supposed to be happy. What happened to you?
What the hell are you people staring at, all right? Is this clown discrimination or what?
Did something really, really bad happen to you in the 70s?
Take a good look at me, all right? I could be one of these knobs making a quote-unquote normal living, but no, here I am, America's only anti-clown, right?
You must be a favorite of the kiddies, Shat-Upon.
Actually, I have a dread fear of small children.
It's not gonna work.
It's a story of my life, right?
What would you like to say to Shat-Upon?
Bye.
Back, evil demon.
If I was a little kid, I would be frightened.
You would run fast and far right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
You ever had a girlfriend?
Take a good look at me, you knob. Although you and I can talk after the show, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't drool so much.
Right, well, you try wearing a 2-inch thick rubber mask and we'll see how well you do, all right?
Clowns scare me.
Channel 11.
Especially this one.
My dad was a clown. He always made me touch his nose. I didn't like it too much. It's a freaky man.
There's the enemy right there. Mancast, it's Mancast. They're paying that bastard $3 million a year to be on the radio, all right? Because we all know that talk radio, so-called comedic talk radio, is all based in slander. That's right, slander.
Did you know that he's the illegitimate clown child of Joanne Worley and Iggy Pop?
That is something I did not know. That is very shocking. Of course, clowns naturally are just frightening things, and you're probably the scariest clown I've ever seen in my entire life. Right.
Well, you know what they say when life hands you lemons, ask if they have any f***ing oranges instead. Because personally, I find Prozac to be a wonderful, say, tower of power as far as working with my chemical imbalance, my chemical, depression, my dysfunction, right?
I was wondering about your opinion of Bozo.
I waited for tickets for Bozo for 8 years, all right? In the mid-'70s, they told me they'd give me the tickets, and they never did.
You all stuff with jealousy of Bozo that you just never got your part, and now you're just trying to make fun of him for the lack of obvious fame that you don't have.
Should I go now, or... Tony? Tony, you owe me money, you son of a bitch.
What happened to your eyes?
It was a horrible industrial accident, you knob. Thanks for bringing it up. I'll see you in hell.
Will Shat have the last laugh?
Does a frog have a waterproof ass? Sooner than later, all right? The whole world feels like Chat.
You're going to LA, but if people want to catch your act, what can they do?
Right, they can try and write into HBO or Comedy Central and tell them to get a clue and hire my ass for a late-night talk show or anti-talk show, all right? Right.
You drooled on me, buddy.
It's one of the last haberdasheries around that custom makes hats on the premises. If you want to treat your head to a fine chapeau, Optimo Hats is the place to go.
Hey,
Wild Chicago.
is Graham here?
That's me. How you doing?
You're with customers, I see.
Customers, fitting some of them up with custom hats.
You're all very well dressed, man.
I thought so.
I think you need a good hat to go with that suit.
I've already ordered it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Now, what do you
definitely.
think?
Yeah, definitely. The camera loves it. How do you plan to counter the hat hair phenomenon?
When people come here for a custom-made hat, we make sure that we fit them exactly how they should be fitted for a hat. It's going to alleviate hat hair. It's harder when your hair is longer, but
these gentlemen are not going to have a big problem with that. What is it about, you know, some people actually can make a bold hat statement like this, and some people just pretty much look stupid wearing a hat like this.
Yeah, that's not one of our best-selling colors.
This is either a leprechaun or a pimp. I'm not sure which. How did you get interested in hats?
I've always loved fashion from the 1940s and that era, that classic era. And these hats are right out of that time.
You got to find a hat that really matches your personality, don't you?
Yeah, and your face.
You've got a narrower face through here, so you'd want to have a narrower hat. It would suit you better. And you look like you're a little bit long oval. If you'd like to see, I can take the conformer. We can put it over your head. That's an old...
You're going to make my head conform to your hats? No, thank you, sir.
What I do is I place this over your head.
Go ahead.
And it makes an imprint for me that I can make a hat that will fit you exactly.
It won't leave an imprint on my actual skull, will it?
No.
Does this tell you anything about my intelligence level at all?
Well, I don't know how to quite translate that. Maybe.
That looks like my foot size.
Well, you have a long oval head.
You're calling me a freak?
No. It's quite usual, actually.
Now, over here, you got the hillbilly hats, right?
Well,
and this looks like, hi there, Jethro. What you doing now, boy? Right?
Yeah, that's how they start off before we make the hats.
Oh, so this is just an unformed hat?
That's an unformed hat. We take a hat like this, and when it's finished up, it might look like this. This is a long-haired derby. The furs we use in our hats here are beaver, wild rabbit, and the muskrat is also used.
Whoa! Now what'd that do?
Well, this is steaming the hat body and getting it soft, so I can start to work with it a little bit.
It's like the hole to hell.
Hat making is a real lost art. I mean, it's taken me years to learn how to do this, and I was lucky enough to be trained by probably the last great hat maker in the United States. Johnny had the shop for 30 years, and then before then he worked with his father-in-law in his business for about 20 years, I believe. So it's been quite a long time. I mean, the history of this shop goes back into the 1940s.
Now, what celebrities have you done hats for?
I make hats for John Lee Hooker, blues musician. I make Buddy Guy's hats for him. My mentor, who trained me how to make hats, had made hats for a lot of famous people over the years. Notably Robert De Niro. He made the Al Capone hat for the Untouchables movie. Well, this is an antique hat blocking machine. Pull the brim out to where we want it. I'm pushing the hat block down into the hat. You saw when I was doing it by hand over there, right. All of the pulling and the roping.
So now why would you do any by hand when you got this great little machine here?
Well, certain hats, you want to watch them very closely when you're pulling them down.
You don't want to stretch it too far or something.
Yeah. Now that hat has been blocked. And now it's ready for crown work, where we're going
ready for a guy named Jethro right now. This would be the cone of silence over here.
This is pressing the brim and giving shape to the brim. Under here we've got one of the finest hats in the store, which is a $6,000 Monte Cristi Fino.
$6,000 for this hat?
$6,000.
You've got to like your head to put it into that hat.
These are very, very rare, and collectors usually buy them. It took a weaver about 8 months to weave this hat.
We'd almost call them dream weavers.
Sure, yeah.
Graham, if somebody wants to purchase a custom-made hat at Optimo, where should they go?
Should come to 10215 Southwestern Avenue.
Phone number?
773-238-2999.
Oh, I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
We're in the Chapel in the Sky, which is the highest place of worship in the world, listed in the Guinness Book of World Records. You're 580 feet above street level here in this chapel. It was given in 1952 by Merville Walgreen, the widow of Charles Walgreen. The wood carvers carved this piece that depicts Jesus looking out over the city of Chicago. If it were today, the Hancock Building would be about here and would be about this high. In 1924, when this building was built, it was the tallest building in Chicago, and it was the second tallest building in the world. This is the terrace for the parsonage. It's kind of a hidden gem up here in the heart of the city. You're about 110 feet from here to the cross at the very top of the steeple. There are 5 detective novels written about the pastor of this church. And according to these novels, this pastor had been the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. There is a tour each day at 2 o'clock or on Sundays at 9:30 and 12. The phone number is 312-236-4548.
I thought I was on the forecastle of a tramp steamer. The way the oaths and curses went up now.
Recognize this guy? That's former Channel 2 reporter Jon Drummond. People still call him Bulldog because of the tenacious way he went after stories on the streets. He recently wrote a book chronicling his career of 30 years in the trenches for TV News. Me? I'm Joe Cummings. I was on the radio side for 22 years, but many a night we were out covering the same story. I sat down with John at the Billy Goat a while back to talk about some of his favorite crooks, characters, and capers.
I know you got a chapter in this book named Tokyo Joe. You got a lot of Joes. You got all kinds of Joes in here. Tell me about Tokyo Joe.
Tokyo Joe, that's a misnomer to begin with, because I understand Tokyo Joe's real name was Ken Edo. He wasn't any more Japanese than you or I. He was actually Korean.
Tell me about what happened to Edo.
Well, Edo was a guy that was considered by most mob people as, quote, a stand-up guy. In other words, the kind of guy that wouldn't bend to the pressure, would never rat on his buddies or his superiors. Joe gets indicted on a gambling charge. Apparently, his superiors say, hey, I think he might talk, take us all down. So what happens is he gets picked up by a man by the name of John Gattuso, who's a sheriff's deputy, and Jasper Campisi, who's an old-time mob figure from River Forest. They're to drive Ken Edo to this dinner to meet Vince Solano.
Vince was the North Side boss.
North Side boss. They get in their car, they drive to the West Side, and they pull into a parking lot at the corner of Grand and Harlem. All of a sudden, Tokyo Joe feels steel on, not on ice, but on head. Bang, bang. 22. They tried to assassinate him. It was a hit. There was no question about it. It was a setup. He's hit 3 times. Slumps over. Gattuso with gun. So he and Campisi exit the car and leave Ken Edo to die, or is already dead. Ken Edo has strong skull. Edo is bleeding heavily. He waits till they leave. He plays possum. And Tokyo Joe, when he revives, finds the federal people talking to him. Joe, they really took you for a ride tonight. Tokyo Joe would have been a stand-up guy, but he's PO'd now. He's telling everything. Number one, who hit him. He's willing to do anything. One of the top guys ever to defect to the government. So Ken Edo becomes a government witness. And in one case, he was wearing a hangman suit. Never came to trial on the murder, though, because Jasper Campisi and John Gattuso get out on bond.
And they got hit.
July 1983, rural Naperville. A car found. Odor strong. Copper's open trunk. Bodies found. John Gattuso and Jessica Campisi, no longer able to defend themselves at trial. Case settled out of court.
Both stabbed to death.
That's right. Where's Canelo today? Somebody told me they thought he was in Brazil. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good story.
It's a hell of a story.
You got any favorites, like people that made the news and then dropped out of sight?
Whatever happened to Ruth Steinhagen? Now, the average person doesn't remember who Ruth Steinhagen was, unless they saw the movie The Natural, remember? Robert Redford?
She shot the baseball player.
There you are, and that really happened. The Cubs were playing the Phillies. The Phillies were in town. The Phillies had a guy named Cowboy Eddie Waitkus. They're staying at the Edgewater Beach Hotel. Ruth Steinhagen was what we called today, didn't then, a groupie. She thought Eddie Waitkus was the greatest thing since the internal combustion engine was made of her. Pictures of Eddie on the wall. So she goes in and checks into the Edgewater Beach Hotel. How she got in, I don't know. But anyway, she's down there. She leaves a message for Mr. Waitkus to give her a call. So he calls this room. The woman wants him to come up to visit her. So he goes in, opens the door, and Ruth Steinhagen said, "Hey, Eddie, you haven't been contacting me like you're supposed to. I got a crush on you." Words to that effect. Bang! Shoots him in the lung. Calls the house dick. "I just shot a guy." Happy ending in the sense that Waitkus not only recovered, but was able to play baseball again. What happened to Ruth Steinhagen? She went to, I think, Mantino or mental. I don't know.
That's a good one. What do you think was one of your most interesting cases, maybe internationally?
By far, the so-called Marlboro Diamond. This happened in 1980. Two Chicago guys, Jerry Scalise and a guy named Arthur the Brain Rachel, were involved in one of the most daring daylight holdups in modern times. These guys burst in, they throw a smoke grenade or some smoke bomb on the floor, everybody hits the deck, they scoop up the jewelry, including the famous Marlboro Diamond, which is almost worth $1 million, 1980 prices, and got out the door and looked like they got away with a perfect heist. But one of these guys, and I think it was Art Rachel, they were wearing beards, but the beard detached or came loose. What happened was, these guys, as clever as they were, registered their own names, so it didn't take long for Scotland Yard to figure out these two guys not only what the car they had, but what hotel they were staying at. They go to the hotel, they checked out, they get a taxi. Taxi to Heathrow. But on the way to Heathrow Airport, these two guys say, "Hey, wait a minute. Let's go to the post office." They go in there and mail a package. Then they get on the plane. The FBI is waiting at O'Hare Field when they come in. Perfect score. They're going to catch the guys and return all the valuables. Scalise and Rachel are on the plane all right, but no Marlboro Diamond. What happened was, obviously, they mailed it to somebody. To this day, we don't know for sure what happened. People that know what happened, Jerry Scalise and Art Rachel, did their time, got released, and have not said anything.
What is it, about a 45-carat diamond?
Yes, correct, but the odds are that whoever got the Marlboro Diamond chopped it up, and that's how it got fenced.
John's book contains some of the best stories about crime in Chicago. There's even a chapter about me.
The best greetings, thank you, and have a happy Easter.
And thank you for sitting in for Bill for a week.
Top Banana's back on Monday, and I go back to being a spear carrier, but I enjoyed it.
This is John Drummond.
Coming soon on Wild Chicago, the Smell and Taste Research Institute, a store for transformations in Oak Park, eating mud in Wisconsin, peg and dowel woodworking, high divers at the Taste of Chicago, and predominantly Presley radio.
Chicago cult filmmaker Eric Larson makes his movies on a shoestring by using Super 8 film and hiring his friends as actors. We took a meeting with him at the premiere party for his new feature, Meter Girls.
Excuse me, sir. You're not Eric Larson, are you? You're Eric Larson?
Yes, I am. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hello.
And what's going on back here?
Well, we're having a big video release party for Meter Girls. We have all of our actors here.
I play Trish Vanderplop.
If Mrs. Schnitzel finds out that you're in here with him when you're supposed to be working, I'm on break.
Is there any gratuitous nudity in Eric's films? I mean, it's pretty clean stuff, right?
That stuff was cut out.
How long have you been making movies?
About 15 years, actually.
Uh-huh.
This is Smudge.
Hi, Smudge.
Are you my friend? Can I come with you? Do you have a car?
Is she in the current film, Eric?
No, she just happened to be here.
How much money did you spend on this film?
I spent about $5,000 on this. It's a 2-hour feature. And
out of your own pocket?
Out of my own pocket.
I'm going to be leaving soon to join a concert. And what? F1, of course.
You all is stupid, and you is ugly. You can't be enough.
You've been compared to John Waters, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me. I don't know. My friends and I just like to get together and do crazy things.
How was Meter Girls inspired?
A lot of it came about because I really wanted to see Gabby play a pimp.
I play Mrs. Schnitzel.
Mrs. Schnitzel.
I'm the madam who takes care of my lovely girls, but they can't upset me or make me mad, because when I get angry, you'll see everything explode.
Ironically enough, Miss Willis, our business caters to men.
A catering business? Oh, I don't know. I don't even know how to cook.
You definitely write your films for your friends, with them in mind.
Most of the people who have been in the movies have been in them for the last 15 years. Uncle Alice, Christine, Linda, Carried Away, Jilly.
In most of his films, there's some sort of eating scene.
Dad sure does love his iced tea. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not iced tea. That's water. Just give it a second and the rust will settle.
I play C.C. Hornet.
C.C. Hornet.
C.C. Hornet. Much to the disdain of the actual Meter Girls, I am giving it away in the film.
C.C. lives up to her name. Is that what you're telling us?
C.C.
C.C. Everything about you says yes. Is that... Well, tell me this.
Talk to me after the show.
Yes.
What are some of your other movies?
I've done Graham Crackers, Problem Child, Lost, Nutcracker, Deranged Daughter of Daphne Dickinson.
That was about a girl, her mother was going to send her to a psychiatrist and ended up instead being eaten by a leftover tongue sandwich.
They keep me in the basement.
That's sort of sad, isn't it?
You're cute.
I was in Lost, the film before Meter Girls.
What was the plot of that one?
Well, Uncle Alice was just having a really bad day and somehow ended up in a pink gorilla suit.
Where do you hope to go with this career? I mean, is it just always going to be a sort of a side light for you, or do you hope to maybe make a living at it one day?
I'd love to make a living, but if I don't, as long as we can all keep having fun, that's what it's all about.
Well, that sounds like a great tagline for a segment. Eric, if somebody wants to see Meter Girls, what should they do?
Look for it at a video store near you, or if they don't have it, you can order direct from Emphasis Entertainment.
Phone number?
Area code 630-355-5762.
Thanks, everybody. You're all stars in my book.
Will and his correspondents will be back next week with another journey into wild Chicago. But in the meantime, why don't you send us that wild idea of yours? Mail your suggestions to Wild Chicago, 5400 North St. Louis, Chicago 60625. Or fax us at 773-509-5304. And for information on tonight's show, call customer service at 773-509-1111, extension WTTW. Or visit our website at WTTW.com. Thanks for watching.
We have your name, young lady?
Candy Collins.
You're a a bunny. That's right.
Produced in Chicago by WTTW.